Hi guys, Darren from the Filter Shop here. Today I just want to take you through our water softener range. Now for those of you who don't know what water softening is, it's the removal of hardness from water, hardness being lime, calcium, magnesium, also known as calc in South Africa. What I just want to do is I just want to quickly take you through what you get when you order a water softener, just a general run through of how a softener actually works, and then I want to just discuss how to determine what's the right softener for your situation. Okay. So firstly, when you order a water softener, there are several components that you get. You get an FRP vessel. In our domestic range, there's four main sizes we use. There's a 25 litre single bag FRP vessel, 50 litre, a 75 litre and a 100 litre. You also receive a regeneration valve head, either a manually run one, an automatic digital valve head, or a FLEC type automatic valve head. Okay. You also get a 100 litre brine tank, including the valve and piping. You get several bags of softening resin, depending on the size of the vessel. The 25 litre vessel takes a single bag, where the 100 litre takes 4 bags. Okay. You get a bag of coarse salt, which is the same as swimming pool salt, which you can get from any hardware or pool shop. Okay. You receive a riser pipe with bottom strainer, a top strainer, as well as a test kit which we give to you in order to monitor the effectiveness of your softener, as well as give you an idea of how often you need to run the regeneration. Now speaking about the regeneration, I'm jumping a bit forward here, but how a softener works is inside of a water softener there's what they call cation resin, which is an ion exchange resin. Now that resin is coated in sodium ions. And what happens is when the water enters the vessel, it flows through all that resin right down to the base of the unit, where then enters the riser pipe and leaves. Now while it's flowing through that resin, the sodium ion stuck to the cation resin is going to exchange places with the magnesium and the calcium in the water. So the calcium and the magnesium actually stick to the resin inside the vessel, and the sodium continues on with the water to its final destination. Alright, so it effectively has now removed the calcium and the magnesium, the actual hardness, from the water. Now eventually all the resin inside will be completely stuck with calcium and magnesium, will be no sodium left, and then whatever magnesium and calcium is coming through is going to get through and continue on to your final destination. So what the unit has to do is it has to run what they call a regeneration cycle. Now what happens in a regeneration is that in your 100 litre brine tank there is a mixture of salt and water. Now the softener is using the salt as a source of new sodium ions to regenerate the actual resin inside. So what the valve head will do, or what you'll manually do depending on your option, is you're first going to backwash the unit, flushing out any dirt or sediment, as well as the calcium and magnesium, flushing it out through the drain to a drain point or into the garden or what have you. It's then going to run the regeneration cycle, which is still going to have the drain running at the same time, so don't be scared that the drain is running through this whole process, because it will. That's completely normal. It's going to then draw from the brine tank, it's going to draw the mixture of water and salt into the vessel, and so the cation resin is then going to take the sodium ions from the water and replace the calcium and magnesium with that sodium ion. It then runs one final rinse cycle where it rinses out any of the excess salt that's inside the vessel and the remaining calcium and magnesium out. And then it goes back into normal operation, where it's then running as it's meant to, removing calcium and magnesium from the water. Okay. Now, a softener, when I say it's using salt, just keep in mind that a softener shouldn't make your water suddenly taste salty. If it didn't taste salty before, obviously if it did before, it's not going to change that. But if it does suddenly taste salty, that's a sign of a softener not functioning correctly. There's several different things that could happen. We can cover that in a different video, but that's just something to keep in mind. If your water didn't have a salty taste, you put a softener in place and it does have a salty taste suddenly, something's not running correctly on the softener. Either a setting's wrong or one of the piping isn't correct. And if you are having that issue, you can always contact us and we'll take you through that. Now, how to select the correct softener. As you can see, there are 4 different sizes for our particular domestic range, and there are even larger sizes depending if you've got an industrial application. Okay. There are 2 important things to determining what size softener you want. One is flow rate, and the other is parts per million of hardness in the water. This is why we recommend that one of the first things you should do before you purchase any softener is to have your water tested. The parts per million of hardness are always going to be different from source water to source water. You have some boreholes or municipal waters that have 30 parts per million, you don't even need to worry about softening them. You have others where you're going 300, 500 parts per million and softening is required. Now, in a situation with 200, 300 parts per million, which is quite hard water, you ideally actually want to have more time for the resin to have exposure to the water. So you'd want rather the 100-litre vessel over the single bag 25-litre vessel, because there's not as much cation resin, there's not as much area, surface area for contacting with the calcium and magnesium, and there's not as much time that the water actually spends inside the vessel, because it doesn't have to go as through such a larger space. Okay. Now there are also things that can affect the effectiveness of the softener besides flow rate and the actual level of hardness in the water. Something such as sodium levels in the water. Now, as I've said, what happens is that the lime is getting exchanged with sodium in the water. But if you have a water that has very high hardness and it has very high sodium, basically when the vessel's running with that water, it's going to be regenerating itself the whole time. Now that water, when it regenerates, it's going to, when the sodium exchanges places again, because that lime's not going to the drain, it's going through the house, you're still going to find you're getting hardness. Which is why in those cases what you might want to do is you might want to increase your level of regeneration to try and stop that hardness from getting through. This is all things that need to come into consideration, which is why I would strongly recommend getting the water tested before you purchase a water softener in the first place. If you're not sure, you have any more questions, or you'd like to just find out a little bit more about the softeners, or if you have a much larger flow rate than say for these units we'd say maybe 3,000 litres an hour is kind of the max flow rate you're going to look through these units. If you have a much higher industrial one, we do have industrial units available as well. They are normally custom built and we need to do calculations and things like that. So we recommend contacting us with your parts per million of hardness and the level of flow rates, so litres per hour, and then we'll be able to put together a price for you on a softener to handle that kind of flow rate. If you guys have any questions, you're not sure what softener is the right softener for you, if you want any more information about the softeners, or you do want more videos on the softeners explaining how they work, just let us know, give us a call, send us an email on sales@filtershop.co.za, and we'll be happy to help you. This is Darren from the Filter Shop saying bye.